Hello Tanga, welcome to Gully Classroom. This is a special edition of Gully Dozen taken in English. Sir, what is Gully Dozen? Gully Dozen is a lecture where we will look at 12 MCQ questions, 12 multiple choice questions, and by studying these 12 multiple choice questions, we will revise the most important parts of an entire chapter. This is the English edition of Gully Dozen. In this particular chapter, acid, bases and salts in chemistry chapter 2. If you want the Tamil edition, please do check the playlist. There is also a Tamil version of this same video available in the playlist. Yeah? Okay sir. Sir, how am I supposed to study this Gully Dozen perfectly? To study this Gully Dozen perfectly, immediately pause this video and the questions of this Gully Dozen are given in the description. Go through the questions, mark down the answers, then unpause the video and go through the questions with me. By doing this, you can revise the entire chapter and also you can know how much you have studied this particular chapter in chemistry, CBSE 10th standard chemistry, science book chapter 2, acids, bases and salts. Yeah, can we start this Gully Dozen? Absolutely sir. Okay, let us look at the first question. The first question is, a solution reacts with crushed eggshells. So there is a particular solution. It is reacting with crushed eggshells. What is the formula for crushed eggshells? Crushed eggshells means CaCO3. Okay, now what is happening? And gives a gas that turns lime water milky. Which gas turns lime water milky? Carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. The solution contains, okay, look here, a solution is reacting with the eggshells, crushed eggshells, calcium carbonate CaCO3, and it is giving a gas. This CO2 is turning lime water milky. Okay, fine. Now what is going to come here? There are 4 options given. Let us try to understand what they have given. When you are given a metal carbonate, calcium is a metal, CO3 it is a carbonate, you need to have an acid over here, because only an acid breaks CO3 carbonate to form CO2, and acid breaks carbonate to form carbon dioxide. So what acid will come here? Out of the 4 options, NaCl, common salt, it is not an acid. LiCl, KCl is not an acid, they are salt. So option B, HCl is the only acid available. Option B, HCl is the only acid available. Let us complete this reaction. So carbon dioxide is being pushed out of here. Here there is hydrogen, here there is oxygen. They will combine to form water. So calcium is left here, Cl is left here. They will combine to form CaCl2. Sir, kindly do balance this reaction. Yes, Tango. Let us check whether I have balanced the reaction. Here there is 2 Cl. Let us check the Cl over here. Here I need to put 2. Here there is 2 hydrogen. There is 1 carbon. There is 3 oxygen. There is 3 oxygen. This particular equation is balanced. Here, because only an mineral acid or some acid, only an acid will break carbonate to form carbon dioxide. I am searching for the acid in the option. Option B, hydrochloric acid is given. So that is the answer for the first question. Let us go for the second question. Okay, what about the second question? Baking powder is a mixture of. Okay, what is baking powder used for? Sir, baking powder is used for obviously baking cakes. That is fine. What is the formula for baking powder? The formula for baking powder is NaHCO3. Baking powder NaHCO3 or sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate is basic in nature. Okay, because this is basic in nature, if I am going to put it in a cake, what will happen? Bases are bitter in taste. Bases are bitter in taste. So, because bases are bitter in taste, what will happen to the cake? The cake will also be bitter in taste. This needs to be avoided. How are you going to avoid this? In order to avoid this, this is what I am going to do. In order to avoid this, this is what I am going to do. I am going to add some H plus to this base. Where will we get H plus from? This H plus is usually derived from any acid. This H plus is usually derived from any acid. Okay, so NaHCO3 and H plus will combine with each other to give us CO2 plus H2O plus sodium salt of an acid plus sodium salt of an acid. By doing this, this particular basic nature is neutralized by the acidic nature. Since basic and acid are being neutralized, the cake that we are getting over here, does not taste bitter. You need to put NaHCO3 in order to get cake because it is baking powder, but you are not going to put NaHCO3 alone because NaHCO3 is a base, it is bitter, then the cake will be bitter. This needs to be avoided. So you are putting an acid, a mild acid along with this base. The base and the acid neutralize each other and form the sodium salt of an acid. Because the base is neutralized by the acid, the cake is no longer bitter in its nature. Okay sir, I am fine with the explanation. What acid are you going to use here? The famous acid that we are going to use here is tartaric acid. Sir, where is tartaric acid present? Tartaric acid is present in tamarind. What is tamarind called in Hindi? Tamarind means imli. Anyway, so you are going to add tartaric acid with sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate in order to make the cake taste well. Okay sir, what is the answer over here? The answer is C. So baking powder is a mixture of sodium hydrogen carbonate and what acid? Tartaric acid. Okay sir, I am comfortable with the second question, but this equation will really use some more explanation. Absolutely. How about this? This third question is in fact related to this equation. Once I finish this third answer, you will understand the second answer also in a better way. Okay sir, let us go for the third question. Sodium hydrogen carbonate when added to acetic acid. Okay, fine. Let us take sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, sodium hydrogen carbonate. You are adding it with acetic acid. CH3COOH is called as acetic acid. What is happening? Okay, sodium hydrogen carbonate when added to acetic acid, it is evolving a gas. Okay, look here, what is happening means the first thing is this is an acid. An acid when it is added to a carbonate or hydrogen carbonate, immediately it will give out CO2. We did see that over here itself. An acid when you are adding with some metal carbonate, it will immediately give an CO2. An acid, it can be any acid. Here it is acetic acid. Here it is hydrochloric acid. An acid when it is added to either metal carbonate, calcium carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, it will give out CO2. So this is the gas evolved. Okay, let us complete the reaction and then check the question. Then you will also get a H2O. Why sir? Because here there is oxygen, here there is hydrogen, they will combine to give you H2O. What next sir? I will get a CH3COONA. This particular H from this acid will be sent outside. This particular H from acetic acid will be sent outside, and in this particular place what will come? Sodium from here will come and get replaced. Sodium from here will come and replace hydrogen from acetic acid and it will form sodium acetate. This is called as sodium. Acetate. What is sodium acetate? Sodium acetate is in fact sodium salt of the particular acid that is given. Sodium acetate is nothing but the sodium salt of the acid that is given. Here which acid is given? Here acetic acid is given. So sodium salt of the acetic acid, sodium acetate is being formed. Are you able to understand this basic idea of the equation? Yeah, all the three equations can be oriented to one another and compared and studied. Okay sir, I am comfortable with this particular equation. Now let us look at the third question. Which of the following statement is true about the gas evolved? The gas evolved is carbon dioxide. Which statements are true? Yes, carbon dioxide does turn lime water milky. Carbon dioxide does turn lime water milky. That is fine. Sir, what is lime water? Okay, lime water is CaOH twice is called as lime water. If you are adding carbon dioxide to this, what will happen? You will get CaCO3. CaCO3, it will turn lime water milky and it will send water outside. Then it will send water outside. Calcium hydroxide, when it combines with CO2, it forms CaCO3, which is shiny white in color, and sends out water. In fact, this is the reaction that is responsible for the whitewashed walls being shiny white in color. You are applying slaked lime or calcium hydroxide on the walls. It is combining with carbon dioxide from the air. It is forming a shiny white CaCO3 coating and it is sending water outside. Are you able to understand these reactions? Absolutely sir. Let us look at the second one. It extinguishes a burning splinter. Yes, carbon dioxide has a nature to extinguish a burning splinter. Okay, what about the third one? It dissolves in a solution of sodium hydroxide. Yes, carbon dioxide, look here Tangam, carbon dioxide dissolves in a solution of sodium hydroxide. In fact, in higher secondary inorganic chemistry, how carbon dioxide reacts with sodium hydroxide is a very important question. Anyway, so the first option is true. It turns lime water milky. The second option is true. Carbon dioxide extinguishes a burning splinter. The third option is true. Carbon dioxide dissolves in a solution of sodium hydroxide. What about the last option, sir? Does carbon dioxide have a pungent odor? No. Usually compounds of sulfur have a pungent odor. Usually compounds of sulfur such as SO3, SO2, all this, when they are being formed, they do have a pungent odor. But CO2 does not contain sulfur, it does not have a pungent odor. So the first three options are true. So the answer for the third question is B. The answer for the third question is B. Okay sir. Let us go for the fourth question. What is the fourth question? Dash is the chemical name. Let me read the fourth question. Dash is the chemical name and dash is the chemical formula. Okay, for the salt that is used to remove the permanent hardness of water. How are you going to remove the permanent hardness of water? Permanent hardness of water can be removed by using washing soda. Okay sir. What is the formula for washing soda? Okay, the formula for washing soda is given as Na2CO3.10H2O. This is called as water of crystallization. How will you write the chemical name for this, sir? Let us read this. Here there is sodium. Okay, so sodium, this is a carbonate ion. Carbonate means CO3 2 minus. So sodium carbonate, how many waters of crystallization does this molecule have? It has 10. Here I can write deca, which means 10. Hydrate means water molecule. So Na2CO3.10H2O is the chemical formula and sodium carbonate dot decahydrate is the chemical name for the salt that is used to remove the permanent hardness of water. Which salt is used to remove the permanent hardness of water? The salt that is used to remove the permanent hardness of water is washing soda. Okay sir, kindly give me what are the other applications of washing soda. Absolutely, washing soda is used in soaps and paper industry. It is used in the manufacture of sodium compounds such as borax. Borax is very important. You will study this again in inorganic chemistry in the higher secondary classes. Also, washing soda is obviously used as a cleaning agent for domestic purposes. You are going to use it for cleaning your clothes. So these are the applications of washing soda. Okay sir. Sir, you left to one application. Yes, washing soda is obviously also used for removing the permanent hardness of water. Removing the permanent hardness of water. Let us look at the fifth question. Let us read it. An aqueous solution A turns phenolphthalein solution pink. Sir, we are going to study about phenolphthalein. Okay, let us do a very short recollection of synthetic indicators. Okay, what are synthetic indicators? Synthetic indicators are those indicators which are a combination of different chemicals which can be used to detect visually an acid or a base. They simply change colors depending on whether you are putting the synthetic indicator to an acid or a base. So synthetic indicators, that is fine. What are the two famous synthetic indicators? Phenolphthalein and methyl orange. How to remember the color change in this synthetic indicators? P, C, C, P. What about this, sir? Mori. Sir, how are you remembering this? Listen here. PCCP. Phenolphthalein is normally colorless. In acid also it is colorless. But in base, phenolphthalein becomes pink. But in base, phenolphthalein becomes pink. What about methyl orange, sir? Methyl orange normally it is orange in color. Okay, what about in acid, sir? Acid, in acid it is red in color. What about in bases, sir? In bases it is yellow in color. Okay, now let us look at the question. An aqueous solution A turns phenolphthalein solution pink. So originally this means the aqueous solution A is basic because it is turning the phenolphthalein solution pink. Pink means it is basic. Pink means it is basic. Methyl orange, in methyl orange bases become yellow. Okay, that is fine. Let us continue the question. On addition of an aqueous solution of B to A, now you are adding, A is originally basic, you are adding B. Because you are adding B, what is happening? Pink color disappears. So the original pink color is disappearing, which means B is acidic in nature. So A basic in nature with phenolphthalein, what is happening? It is showing pink color. But when I am adding B, which has to be acidic in nature, the base and the acid neutralize with one another and they once more become colorless in nature Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, will you be able to say whether this base or an acid is strong or weak? No. With this content given, with this information given, I am not able to say whether the base A and the acid B are strong or weak. Now let us look at the answers. Fifth, A is strongly basic, B is a weak base. They are saying that both are bases. That is not true. What about option B? A is strongly acidic and B is a weak acid. They are saying that both are acidic. That is also not true. Let us look at C. A has a pH greater than 7. A is a base. So the pH of the base is obviously greater than 7. So that is right. Okay, what about B? B has a pH less than 7. B is acidic. So the pH of B is obviously lesser than 7. This is also true. So the answer is option C. The answer is option C. Are you able to understand this? Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. Now let us look at the sixth question. Two solutions X and Y are tested with the universal indicator. So you have a universal indicator. Using the universal indicator, you are going to test two solutions. They are X and Y. Okay, you are going to test X and Y with respect to a universal indicator. In a universal indicator, there are different colors. What are the colors, sir? Red. Here there will be green. Here there will be blue. Whenever you are getting an acid, it will be red in color. Whenever you are getting a base, it will be blue in color. Sir, bases will become blue in color with the universal indicator. How am I supposed to remember this? B. Bases are bitter. Bases become blue in universal indicator. Anyway, sir, then what is the taste of acid? Acids are sour in taste. Like imli. Anyway, what about green, sir? Green is my neutral color. Green is the neutral color of universal indicator. That is fine. Now let us look at the colors of X and Y when tested with universal indicator. X turns orange. X is becoming orange, which is present somewhere here. Okay, what about Y? Y is becoming red, which is present somewhere around here. Y is becoming red, which is becoming somewhere over here. Which of the solution is a stronger acid? The solution which is becoming red is obviously the stronger acid. Yeah. So answer is the solution Y. The solution Y which is becoming red with universal indicator is the stronger acid. Okay sir. Okay sir. Let us look at the seventh question. The seventh question is the chemical formula for plaster of Paris is. Okay sir. Let us do a very short recollection of plaster of Paris. Yeah. Okay Tangam. Plaster of Paris, what is used to, it is used for making plaster of Paris, what is it used for? It is used for making statues, it is used for making false ceilings and so on. Okay, let us look at the seventh question. The chemical formula for plaster of Paris is CaSO4 dot half H2O. This is being manufactured from gypsum. Which formula is CaSO4 dot 2 H2O. This is called as gypsum. Its chemical name is calcium sulfate. How many water molecules are there? How many water molecules of crystallization? 2. So I am simply going to call it as dihydrate. Calcium sulfate dihydrate. I am going to heat it to 373 Kelvin. On heating calcium sulfate dihydrate or gypsum at T373 Kelvin, it loses 1.5 molecules of water over here and forms calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Why hemihydrate, sir? Because there is only half a molecule of water here. This is called as calcium sulfate hemihydrate or plaster of Paris. It is also called as plaster of Paris. Okay sir, I am comfortable with this idea. So what is my answer over here? The answer is C, because the formula for gypsum is CaSO4 dot half H2O. Okay sir, I am comfortable with the seventh question. Let us go for the eighth question. Eighth question belongs to read a passage and answer the following with respect to the relevant points from the passage. Okay sir, let us read the passage. The strength of an acid depends on the concentration of hydronium ions present in the solution. Absolutely. Let us say this is my pH scale. Let us say this is my pH scale. A pH scale simply measures where H plus ion concentration is more, where H plus concentration is less. A pH scale simply measures the concentration of H plus ions. Okay, here the pH is given as 7, here the pH is given as 0, here the pH is given as 14, here the solution is absolutely acidic, here the solution is absolutely basic or strongly basic. You can call it strongly basic and strongly acidic. Here the solution is neutral. This is the basic idea of pH scale. Sir, how are you writing all these numbers? To understand the pH scale in a very deep manner, you can refer to the lectures present in the playlist about the pH scale, where I have illustrated pH scale in a very deep manner along with the numerical problems. Yeah, cheers. Let us get back to this. The strength of the acid depends upon the concentration of hydronium ions present in the solution. Here hydronium ions are present in a very high concentration. Here hydronium ions are present in a very low concentration. Okay, what about hydroxide ions here? Hydroxide ions here are present in low concentration. Hydroxide ions here are present in high concentration. What about here, sir? Here H plus ions and OH minus ions are present in equal numbers, hence it is called as neutral. Here H plus ions are more, it is called as an acid. There OH minus ions are more, it is called as a base. In fact, what is an acid? An acid is a substance that furnishes H plus ions when it is mixed with water. A base is a substance that furnishes hydroxide or OH minus ion when it is mixed with water. Okay. What next? the greater the number of hydronium ions present. Sir, what is hydronium ions, sir? Okay, H plus will never be alone. It will immediately combine with water and form H3O plus. H plus from an acid. For example, let us say I am taking HCl. Once I put it in water, this HCl will break and form H plus. This H plus will never be alone. It will combine with H2O and form H3O plus, which is in fact called as hydronium ions. Okay, the greater the number of hydronium ions present, greater is the strength of an acid. Obviously, if I put more HCl, there will be more H plus. It will combine with more H2O molecules and form more hydronium ions. However, some acids do not dissociate to any appreciable extent in water. Sir, which acid does not dissociate to any appreciable extent in water? Let us take acetic acid. Acetic acid, let us say I am putting 10 molecules of acetic acid in water. Only 2 to 3 molecules will dissociate to form H plus. Only 2 to 3 molecules will dissociate to form H plus and CH3COO minus. What is this called as, sir? This is called as acetate ion. So, only some molecules of the original 10 molecules of acetic acid will dissociate in order to form acetate ion and H plus hydrogen ion. Okay, what next? Therefore, these acids will have low concentration of hydronium ions. So, these acids will have low concentration of hydronium ions because if I am putting 10 acetic acid molecules, only 2 to 3 acid molecules are getting dissociated, and because only 2 to 3 acid molecules are getting dissociated, only less number of H plus ions will be formed. If only less number of H plus ions is formed, they will combine with less number of water molecules and form less number of hydronium ions. Therefore, these acids will have low concentration of H plus ions. These acids which dissociate to give 2 or more than 2 hydronium ions are called as polybasic acid. What is called as polybasic acid? An acid that combines with water in order to give 2 or more H plus ions. Let us try to recall which acid that we know. Gives such a gives 2 or more than 2 H plus ions. Sulfuric acid H2SO4, if you are dropping it in water, you will get 2 H plus ions and you will get a sulfate ion SO4 2 minus. So sulfuric acid gives 2 H plus. These two H plus molecules will immediately combine with water and form 2 hydronium ions. That is fine, sir. Now let us look at the questions. Let us look at the 8th question. Red litmus turning blue indicates. Okay, we have already studied about this. BRA. Sir, what is BRA? Okay, BRA is simply a mnemonic. Blue to red is nothing but an acid. Red to blue is nothing but a base. Red to blue. So check again. Red litmus is turning blue. If red litmus is turning blue, the answer has to be base. It is not an acid. Let us look at the 9th question. When a blue litmus paper is introduced in a solution of NaCl, common salt or sodium chloride, what happens? Dash happens. No color change is happening. Why is no color change is happening, sir? NaCl is a neutral salt. It is neither an acidic salt nor an basic salt. Why is NaCl neither an acidic salt nor a basic salt? Because it is formed from a strong acid and a strong base. A strong acid and a strong base combine to form a neutral salt. Let us look at NaCl. Okay, here a strong acid like HCl and a strong base like NaOH combine. Here H and OH combine to form water. What is left? Cl and Na. So this Cl and Na, what are they doing? They are combining to form NaCl. Such kind of a salt is called as a neutral salt. A neutral salt does not show any color change. So no color change. What about the 10th question, sir? Okay, dash is an example of an acid which does not dissociate to any appreciable amount. An acid which does not dissociate to any appreciable amount. Just before you told us that acetic acid, if I am going to put 10 molecules of acetic acid in water, only 2 to 3 molecules will dissociate. Such an acid is called as a weak acid. A good example for a weak acid is acetic acid. A good example for a weak acid is acetic acid. So the answer for 10th one is acetic acid. Okay, what about the answer for 11th question? About 11th question, let us check it out. The strength of an acid is directly proportional to the concentration of H plus ions. Absolutely. If more H plus ions are present, it is automatically acidic. pH must be less, but H plus ions must be more. For bases, pH must be more, but H plus ions must be less. So here, this statement is true. About 11, this statement is true. What about the 12th question, sir? 12th question is a assertion and reasoning question. Let's first check whether the assertion and reasoning are true. Let's first check the assertion. To dilute concentrated sulfuric acid. Study this. To dilute concentrated sulfuric acid, water is added to the acid slowly. Let us draw this diagram. Okay, sir. Let us take some acid. I am adding some water. Dilution is here. This is water. Dilution is always an exothermic process. What is exothermic process? Heat is given out. What is endothermic process? Endothermic process means heat is absorbed by the reaction. Exothermic process means heat is given out. Here, dilution is always an exothermic process because dilution is an exothermic process. Heat is happening and this heat always pushes things away. This acid will immediately jump outside and hurt the face and the hands of the students. Oh my God, isn't that dangerous, sir? So we should not do dilution like this. So the assertion is false. To dilute concentrated sulfuric acid, if water is added to the acid slowly, what will happen? The acid, because dilution is an exothermic process, what will happen? The acid might simply jump outside due to the heat generated by the exothermic reaction, and hurt others. So what are we going to do? We are going to take a lot of water and we will add acid in drops. We will take a lot of water and we will add the sulfuric acid. Which acid? Concentrated sulfuric acid in drops like this. Because we are doing it like this, this is also obviously an exothermic reaction. If this heat is making the things to expand, only water will spill outside and we can stop students from getting hurt. So always when dilution of an concentrated H2SO4 or any acid for that matter, you should add acid to water. This is absolutely right. You should never add water to acid. This is absolutely wrong. So the assertion is false. For the 12th one, assertion is false. Assertion is false. Okay, sir. What about the reasoning? The reasoning, a lot of heat energy will be given out in the dilution of concentrated sulfuric acid because it is an exothermic reaction. So the reasoning is true. That's basically the end of 12 questions. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these 12 questions with me. I tried to cover as much interesting topics associated with these 12 questions as possible. If you want to learn the complete lectures of this particular chapter, acids, bases and salts, do refer to this particular chapter's playlist. We have slowly and to a great depth gone through each and every topic in this particular chapter. Yeah, cheers and thank you for listening to me. If you like our channel, if you love our lectures, then obviously subscribe to us, click the bell icon. What next is, sir? Recommend our channel to your friends. Put us up at Instagram, put us up in WhatsApp, put us up in Facebook. Why, sir? Because we are going to have so much fun learning so many multiple choice questions, during so many problems in physics, chemistry, biology, political science, economics, mathematics and every subject for you guys. Yeah, cheers and thank you once more. See you guys in the next lecture.